Okay, this is the preparation for the 4-handle 2 at one time below zero fat freezing. So I've already connected 2 hand pieces, and then in this suitcase, the silver suitcase here, you have 2 more hand pieces here. So you have a smaller one, the 100 millimeter, and then you have a very large one. When you use the very large one, it can only be connected to number 1. There's a number 1 and number 2 in the back of this machine, and I'm going to show you shortly. You can only use this very large one by itself for 30 minutes. The rest of them 55 minutes. The very large one, only 30 minutes, and can only work by itself. Otherwise, the other 3 hand pieces, 2 can work at the same time. And I'm going to show you in the back. Because this large hand piece is like 3 separate hand pieces. Okay, so keep those safe. Closing that down. Then, I've already put water in the back. You have the funnel from the other machine. So, in the back here, you'll see it says channel 1, and that's where you're going to put the 300 millimeter one. And then over here, you see channel 2. Okay? So, and I'll show you what that means when I turn the machine on. But you have 2 buttons on the side, just like the mobile one. You have 2 buttons on the side here. You're going to push these 2 buttons together, one on this side here, and then you have one over here on this side. Push them both together, push them in, pull out, and to replace whatever size handpiece you want in there. But when you push it back in, make sure you hear that clicking sound to make sure it's connected all the way. You have an emergency switch here, just for the customer, the client. In case they get anxiety or something, they can press this red button here, it shuts the machine off. Then you have a heart rate. You put this on their index finger, it'll measure their heart rate. Okay? This is your inlet. So with the funnel that you have from the other one, you're just going to press this down, pull this out, press the silver piece down. That releases this. Put the funnel in and pour your water in. You have 2 filters back here that should be checked daily. You probably won't need to empty them except weekly, but check them. And how you remove them is you just clip this up, clip it up, and this comes down. Comes out, dump it, clip it back in. Okay, there's your on button there. You see the red light on? There's your power cord. So you have the 2 filters. Make sure you check that daily before you leave each evening. But again, they probably won't need to be emptied, probably weekly. But just make sure you're checking them. Then, we're going to come around to the front. And then I have the emergency switch to turn it off, so I'm pulling that out. It's going to come on. It's going to be your same password that you used when you were using the mobile fat freezing. That, by the way, you know it was replaced. So that is now in my vehicle. And then password on this is 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then you see where it shows 300, 200, 150, and 100. Right now, I've got the 200 and the 150 connected. So, this is the 200, which is common to use along with the 150 right here. The 100 and the 300 are still in here. The 100 is a lot smaller. And then again, the 300 I said only connect to input 1, channel 1, because this, only the 300 can be used only by itself. The rest of them you can use 2 at the same time. Okay? Alright. So then, and it's the same as the mobile one that you were using. So we're going to press 200. All right, and then here, you got your time and heat. Touch it. Go to mode, and you'll see mode down here. So always stay in normal mode. And there it is. It says normal mode. And then the time, leave it at the 3 minutes. That's the heating time that it's heating intermittently throughout the treatment. And then the temperature, I like to keep the temperature at 37. And then you're always going to start at 0 for the cooling and then work your way up. So we're going to take that down to 0. There you go. And then here's your pressure. So start it at 10. There's your 10. And then the time normally is 55. But if it's a small fat area, you want to do 35 minutes. If it's very minimal fat. But moderate to large amount of fat, you want 55 minutes. Okay? And then you're going to hit this, the pause, same as you did on the mobile one. You're going to hit the pause. And then you're going to take the handpiece, put it on the site after you put the membrane pad on. And then you're going to hit once to power it on. See it powered on? See the red? Okay. And then once you're up to a good pressure, and you're going to stay at that pressure, hit it one more time. That holds it in place. Okay? And then the third time turns it off. So you have to hit it the second time in order to go to the next channel to put the next handpiece on. And then you're going to go through the same thing. You're going to put the mode at normal mode. There it is at normal mode. You're going to put the time, leave the time at 3 minutes. That's intermittently heating throughout the whole session is what that means. And then the temperature, like I said, I like it at 37. And then start each client at 0, just like you did on the mobile. And then here's the pressure, bring it down to 10. And then your time to 55. If it's a moderate to large amount of fat. If it's a very small, give them 30 to 35 minutes. And then again, you're going to hit pause. The pause button, so it goes to the arrow. That activates the next handpiece. So, in order to activate 2 handpieces at one time, you have to make sure that on the initial handpiece that you put on, you hit it twice, the button. You pressed it twice. Once to power it on, 2 to hold it at that pressure is fine. Okay? And then that will enable you to use the next handpiece. And then you do the same thing there. If you're adjusting the pressure, say if you go back, you got both of these on, you hit this twice, you got 2 handpieces on one person. When you go back and adjust the pressure tighter or looser, you're going to hit it one more time after you adjust. Okay? And the screen will pop up and remind you of that. This is your emergency switch, same as what it was on the mobile. And this one's on wheels, obviously. I filled the water up. You want to make sure you're checking the water. And again, here's your other hand pieces that come with it. So that's a very small one. That's your 100 millimeters right here. This one, the very small one. Same concept. And you can put the 100 millimeter, the 200, or the 250. You can put that in any channel, but just make sure the 300, this large one here, is only put in channel number 1. And I showed you number 1 and number 2 in the back. And then just make sure you hear a click when you're pushing it in. Okay? And I think that's it with the fat freezing. Same concept as the mobile one that you guys were using, but this one here is a 2 hand pieces. So just make sure when you're using it, you have to hit the button on top of the handpiece twice before you can go apply the next handpiece on them, okay? That will activate the next handpiece for you to apply the next handpiece on them. And that's it with the fat freezing. Here's your, again, like I said, your heart rate. You just put it on their index finger. And then this right here is an emergency switch for the customer client to use in case they get anxiety or they feel like something's wrong. And that's it.